this VO. It's the time of the day when all seems okay. It gets better when I hear you play. I keep begging for more emotions they soar as you take me on that Lexus tour. When I'm going home, it's right time on joy. Whoa. Lexus, take me home. It's right time on joy. Whoa. Lexus, take me home. Whoa. Whoa. Lexus, take me home.
Hi, this is Nana Window. Listen to Personality Profiles with Lexus Bill. Get inspired, get nourished, and grow to be the best that you want to be. Personality Profile and 99.7 FM. I love it.
Hello people, this is Rocky Dauni and you are listening to Personality Profile on Joy 99.7 FM with my man Lexus Bills. This is the show that is meant to inspire you. This is the show that is meant for you to aspire to your greatest self.
I'm Vera Kwakofi, Current Affairs Editor of BBC Africa. Keep listening to Lexus Bill on Personality Profile on Joy 99.7 FM. You could just be able to hear the best piece of advice that sets you on the course to success.
Hello Ghana, my name is Senor Jose, CEO of the Ghana Chamber of Bulk Oil Distributors. Keep listening to Personality Profile with Lexus Bill because it delivers the value that sets you apart for success.
Hi, this is Nadia Antano, Miss Ghana 2013. Keep listening to Personality Profile with Lexus Bill every Thursday at 7 p.m. on Joy FM and be inspired.
Hi, my name is James Ebo-White, or everyone calls me Uncle Ebo-White. You know, what you'll be 5 years from now depends on only two things: the books you read and the people you meet. On Personality Profile, you meet the kind of people you need to meet to make your transition to your greatness. You want a program that would help you, inspire you, motivate you. Why bother to turn to other channels? Just stay here on Personality Profile and you get all the inspiration you need.
Best. You can be the King Kong banging on your chest. You could beat the world, you could beat the war. You can talk to God, go banging on his door. You can throw your hands up, you can beat the clock. You can move a mountain, you can break rocks. You could be a master, don't wait for luck. Dedicate yourself and you go find yourself standing in the Hall of Fame. You can run the mile, you can walk straight through hell with a smile. You could be the hero, you can get the gold. Breaking all the records they thought never could be broke. Yeah, do it for your people, do it for your pride. You ain't never gonna know if you never even try. Do it for your country, do it for your name. Cause there's gonna be a day when you're living in the Hall of Fame. And the world's gonna know your name. Be politicians, be preachers, yeah, yeah. Be believers, be leaders, be astronauts, be champions, be truth seekers. Be students, be teachers, be politicians, be preachers, yeah. Be believers, be leaders, be astronauts, be champions. Standing in the Hall of Fame. And the world's gonna know your name. Cause you burn with the God's flame. And the world's gonna know your name. You'll be on the walls of the Hall of Fame.
Absolutely. You could be sitting in the Hall of Fame and the world would know your name. Yes, this is The Script and Will I Am. Kicking off Personality Profile here on Joy 99.7 FM. We're live on our Facebook page as well. If you're listening on radio and you want to check out the video for tonight's conversation, you can log onto our Facebook page and check it out. I'm Lexus Bill. You know, I look forward to Thursday evenings where I get to sit back, relax. You know, for me, it's not a show. No, it's an evening where I get to sit with wonderful folks who are doing amazing things, and we get to celebrate them, walk a mile in their shoes, you know, get to know their journey, get to know what inspires them and the lessons they've learned along life's journey. All right here on Personality Profile. So sit back, relax as I bring you another wonderful episode. And this brother of mine today, I mean, he's home. I mean, he's a man who needs no introduction. In fact, I struggled to put the words together because this man is a man of many parts. I don't know whether to call him a radio broadcaster, a fashion icon, an entrepreneur, a master of ceremonies, a performer, a singer, an artist manager, but I think it's just perfect to put all of it together. You know what I mean? Because that's really what he is. He's a man of many parts. He's a man who really needs no introduction. He's done it all, seen it all, and I thought he had finished paying his dues, but it looks like a guy has got so much energy and he keeps going. In a few days, he's hosting one of the biggest fashion events on the continent. It has the whole of Africa trooping and thronging into Ghana to witness it. Rhythms on the Runway. Well, I'm sure you have an idea who my guest is. Well, he's one of the finest, the most fashionable media experts in Ghana, and his name is Richard Adu. You could hear the laugh. I mean, why is this man laughing? Why is he laughing? Oh, okay, wait, hold on. That's not the name you expected, right? Okay. Yes, it is Richard Adu, but you and I know him as Kofi Ochredako, KOD.
Like this.
You didn't expect that, huh?
No, I didn't expect that.
Richard Adu.
Oh, no, there's actually a middle name, Richard Churchill.
Oh, sir?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that one.
Yes, I get 12.
Hey. So in your former life, I don't know whether it was when
you want to call
you came when you came as an ancestor, or in the same life, you were called Richard Adu.
Yeah, I was.
That was what you were christened.
Well, yeah, but then again, I have many names. You know, I was born in Winneba, and I have an Ewutu name.
Okay.
Nei Gate.
Nei?
Yeah, Nei Gate.
Gate.
My dad named me after the chief of Winneba.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Richard Adu was from where?
So the Adu is actually my family name, but you know our Shanties, we also have our own proper house name.
Yes.
That's Nana Ochredako. That's my name.
Okay.
You know, so many years later, I decided that, why should I use Richard? I don't know if any Englishman would want to call himself Kofi, or a Chinese man would want to call himself by any traditional or local Ghanaian name. So I decided to go for my proper Ghanaian name. So I decided to even shelve the Adu and go for Kofi Ochredako.
Even the Adu, you shelved
my name.
it?
Yeah, I shelved it. And my dad didn't have a problem with it.
He didn't?
It's still my name. In actual fact, I think my birth certificate has Richard Churchill Adu. My baptism certificate has Kofi Ochredako.
Wow.
Exactly.
And your passport?
And my passport has Kofi Ochredako, yes.
So now...
it became official in 1997, I believe.
Okay. Yeah. So now all your official documents
all my official documents are Kofi Ochredako. Yeah.
I see. I'm sure it's been a while somebody called you Richard.
It would have to be someone from secondary school or
back
primary
in the day.
School back in the day. You know,
good to see you, brother. How are you? You're still looking good.
Shall they try to be like you and easy?
Oh, come on.
So for our listeners, Lex and I have been sitting here counting the amount of grey in our heads. We're like, what happened?
I know. Life happened, and now there's so much grey.
No, so much grey.
Oh boy. Anyway, I'm excited that you're here today. This conversation is really long overdue.
Yeah.
In fact, earlier I was having when I told a few of my colleagues that you were coming in and we're having a conversation about KOD and the things he's done, and everybody starts recounting when they first heard of KOD, and it's like you've been around forever, you know, and you really have achieved a legendary status, you know.
I always dread that word, you know. When I think about legendary, I think about someone like Tommy Annan Forsen or Charlie Sam or Kwesi Chedi.
In just 48 hours or so, you're hosting Rhythms on a Runway at the castle, Osu Castle, isn't it?
Yeah.
How preparations going for that?
Yeah, pretty well. We're working very, very hard. We're not even looking at the clock. We're just working.
Yeah.
We started setting up yesterday, so we're built to start.
I see you have some international performers coming
some
through.
Musicians from different parts of the continent. We have one from Swaziland or Eswatini.
Oh wow!
And one from Sierra Leone. She actually ran in quite fast because there's some chaos in her country.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, there's some curfews here and there in Sierra Leone.
And we have some friends who have come from Belgium, the United States, and different parts of the world. That's what Rhythms on the Runway has become. The BBC describes it as the biggest cultural expose in Africa. We have to live up to that name.
Yes, absolutely. You've done well.
Yeah.
But let's get to know KOD a little bit more. I think it was a couple of hours or days ago you posted when you went to GBC that you stepped in there in 1984 thereabouts, and I was like, wow, this media journey of yours started a long time ago. Okay, but where you from exactly? Where were you born?
I'm from Adanse. So my parents are both from Adanse Akrotre and Adanse Akrofum. So one's mom is from Adanse Akrotre, one from Adanse Akrofum. That's the Obuasi area.
Right.
Yeah, that's where I come from. And my father was stationed in Winneba, I think between 1974 and 1979. So that's where I was born.
Prison service.
Yeah, prison service. He was the officer in charge of the Winneba prison. So that's where I was born. Then we went to Kumasi. We came here after the 81 coup.
Okay.
And I've not been back since.
I see. How was the growing up though?
It was amazing. I'm the last of 7 children. I have 6 other siblings. Well, after my father passed, I found out that I have another one. So we're 8.
It was only after he passed?
After he passed.
And that was not long ago,
He showed up and
it?
I was happy to see my brother.
Wow.
Yeah, and, last born, overly pampered. When we came to Accra, we lived in cantonments, then moved next to the State House at Rage. So kind of bougie life, but I don't know, for a strange reason, I didn't like the life over there. I preferred taking a walk down to where we're having Rhythms on the Runway this year. I'd go behind the Osu Castle, or go behind the Independence Monument. And once my mother found me sitting around the Independence Monument, the one with the roundabouts. And at that time, there was loads of water in the gutter. She actually found me sitting there fishing.
Wow.
I'm sure it's about maybe some 8 or 9 years. I liked the street life, kind of, but I think my parents did well. My mom wanted me to be an academic, but all she saw was a 360 creative.
From those early days?
No, very early.
What exactly were you doing?
Everything. Drawing, drumming, singing, painting, everything that creatives do. And once, she actually reported me to Auntie Joyce. Then she was the Secretary of Education. Actually, we called them back in the day. The ministers were called secretaries. She was our neighbor. And she's like, Auntie Joyce, because all she saw was a creative. And some of our parents really didn't support or endorse their children growing up to be creative. So it took many years for her to appreciate what I was built to do.
What about your dad?
My dad was indifferent. I think I'm more like my father.
Okay.
Even though he worked in the security service, I didn't have a regimental way of growing up, like do things a certain way, as in when you went wrong, he'd correct you.
Yeah.
But he wasn't very stern on me, say, nah, he wasn't that kind of father. No, he wasn't. I mean, then again, in the 80s, because of the kind of time we were in, he was director of prisons, also in charge of operations. So they were gone most of the time, just making sure the country was stable.
Yeah. Did you have access to the prisons?
Yes. It's interesting. Whenever I wasn't well, I never went to like a normal hospital. I'd always go to the prisons because they have what they call infirmary at the prisons.
Yeah.
And they take care of you.
Okay.
They take care of you. So
what's your fondest recollection of the prison setup from when you were much younger?
Well, it wasn't as populated as it is now. People, I got to sit with many of them. I learned a lot of lessons from them. They'd narrate what they did, those who were guilty, those who found themselves at the wrong place at the wrong time, in there, those who were there because the system was after them, those who had been incarcerated because they had attempted coups. I actually met this man, Nana, what's his full name? The Kofi Chinto story, because he was on remand at James Fort, so I got to meet him.
Wow.
I got to meet him many years before he was sentenced to firing squad.
Wow.
It was a great experience, and also sharing the wall with the State House. In actual fact, the first swimming pool I jumped in, it's not a pool, it's actually a fountain. It's the fountain across from the banquet hall. There's a fountain right in front of it. That was our swimming pool when we were growing up. And as early as maybe age 8, 9, I was watching Miss Ghana. I was watching the National Dance Championship. Because all I had to do was scale the wall at the State House and we're at the banquet hall.
Wow.
Which would, many years later, host Rhythms on the Runway.
Yes.
So I saw these things. I saw people like Kwabeno Kai at a very tender age. Asabia Kropper, who was a great friend of my mom. It was great. So I saw so much in terms of creativity. Some world leaders as well. Arafat, what's his name? The leader of the Nation of Islam. What's his name? Nation of Islam. It's not coming. Many of them. Kenneth Kaunda. I saw all these people with my.
So this is probably what shaped what you would be.
Yes, it did. I
many
grew up
years later
having so much love for the flag in front of us.
The Ghana flag.
The Ghana flag. Ghana. In the spirit of Osajifo, the great Osajifo, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. That's how I was brought up. And then again, I also sat in many adult conversations, passively serving adults, but then somehow you get to listen to them. Because my mom was also a founding member of 31st December Women's Movement.
Okay.
The Auntie Sherry Aite, who just passed not too long ago, worked very closely with my mom and Mrs. Rawlins, establishing the 31st December creche and schools around the country, especially at the markets, to get the ladies to take their children to school before going to the market, and then also use that same platform to motivate especially wives of men in the security services not to just follow their husbands around, but to do things for themselves.
Wow. You had I'm just imagining the kind of upbringing you have because that's like a lot of information.
Yeah, a lot of information
that you needed to.
So much. I mean, at home on Thursdays, it was a ritual for us to host people. My uncle PV would come by. PV Obeng would come by. You'd have, some security heads like David Walenkaki, who was at the time a commissioner of police. Commissioner of Police Owusu Poku, Valisa Chianu, who was a chief fire officer. So these were my neighbors. These were my neighbors.
In fact, Stephen Damson in Ohio just helped us with the Nation of Islam leader, Louis Farrakhan.
Louis Farrakhan, exactly.
Yes, and all of that.
I saw people like him.
Yeah.
Growing up.
Okay,
and,
so where did you school?
So I started school at Jack and Jill at Roman Ridge. When my father moved from being a commandant of Ghana Prison Service to James Ford, I wanted to get closer to town, so I moved to Royal Preparatory. Royal is in Osu.
Okay.
And that's where Herbert Mensah lives now. That's Herbert Mensah's house. It was my school.
Wow.
Then went to Snaps Preparatory in Asylum Down, maybe some 5 minutes away from here. And I started my secondary education at Royal Preparatory. No. I'm Harvard College. That's just up the road from here.
Yes.
So this was my neighborhood.
Oh, just down.
Not the one down there. The old site was actually on the other side.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, I see. Yeah. I know the new one.
The new one.
Yeah.
Yes.
You've been playing in this neighborhood?
No, since for many years. Yeah. Right at the traffic lights at the junction, my classmates lived there, Indian guys. So when we're done with school, we come there and play.
Yeah. What was your talent exactly when you were much younger?
Wow. Probably singing, or drumming, something like that.
Okay.
Drumming. I knew I was probably going to end up as a musician or everything that I am today.
Okay. Kofi, hold on. We'll take a quick break and then there's more when we're back. Stay tuned in.
Chest. You could beat the world, you could beat the war. You could talk to God, go banging on his door. You can throw your hands up, you can beat the clock. Yeah. You can move a mountain, you can break rocks. You could be a master, don't wait for luck. Dedicate yourself and you go find yourself. Standing in the distance, you can run the mile. You can walk straight through hell with a smile. You could be the hero, you can get the gold. Breaking all the records they thought never could be broke. Yeah, do it for your people, do it for your pride. And you're never gonna know if you never even try. Do it for your country, do it for your name. Cause there's gonna be a day when you're living in the Hall of Fame. And the world's gonna know your name. Cause you burn with the cross flame. And the world's gonna know your name. And you'll be on the walls of the Hall of Fame. Be a champion. Be a champion. Be a champion. Be a champion of the Hall of Fame. Be students, be teachers, be politicians, be preachers. Yeah, yeah. Be believers, be leaders, be astronauts, be champions, be truth seekers. Be students, be teachers, be politicians, be preachers. Yeah. Be believers, be leaders, be astronauts, be champions. Standing in the Hall of Fame. And the world's gonna know your name. Cause you burn with the cross flame.
Ghana stands on the verge of an environmental and a health crisis. Our rivers, forests, and children are bearing the brunt of an illegal gold mining crisis. Their future, our legacy, at stake. Join us for an urgent national dialogue and a call to action following the eye-opening Joy News Hotline documentary, Poisoned for Gold. Together we gather experts, policymakers, and leaders united to save our land, our water, and our children. Be part of the solution. Tune in to Joy News, Joy FM, or join us online on the 4th of December, 4 p.m. at the Labadi Beach Hotel. Your voice matters in this fight for our nation's heart and health. Don't let this moment pass. Your engagement can change the future. This event is in partnership with the Ghana Chamber of Mines and WaterAid.
Sa
7.
So you're still live on Joy 99.7 FM. This is Personality Profile on your superstation. I need to totally apologize. I understand there was a little bit of a technical challenge and some interference in our transmission. We apologize for that, but we're back and our technicians are working hard to make sure that we have a stable network so you can listen to us wherever you are. We're also live on our Facebook page. You can actually check out the video so you don't miss out any part of our conversation. I'm here with the one and only KOD, Kofi Otre Dako, Mr. Edu. So, I mean, I love the name. I mean, it was just so different from your name. You know what I mean? I just couldn't imagine
very
it.
Different. Very different.
So I'm just excited about it anyway. But we're getting to know his story growing up in school and all of that. We're talking about school. You talked about Harvard in this neighborhood and whatnot.
You know.
Now, when you were done with secondary school, what happened next?
So when I was done with secondary school, I was an art student, and I focused on written English, literature, and stuff like that. I didn't really pay attention to math like some of you did. And
Really?
when my results came, I really totally failed my O-level math, like totally failed.
How bad?
Very bad. Like the last, like I never went to class. F. Yeah, the Ukrainian friend F. You're finding a 9. 9, yes. So I had 9. Like 9. Like I never went to class. And so I had to reset. That's when it struck me that I really wasted my time because, I could have studied it. But being an art student, the focus was more on literature and, more of the arts.
Yeah.
I knew that was my calling. That was my path.
Yeah.
So I didn't focus on the other ones. And I had to do a reset. And from 9, I go at 4. So in that time, I was a copywriter for KDS. KDS was owned by KKD at the Equatorial Plaza that opposite the Accra Girls. The same building that saw the birth of Sunshine Radio, later Choice, and now Kasapa.
Yes,
the same frequency.
Yes.
And now Kasapa FM. So I was part of the team there. In between time when I was in secondary school, whenever I was on vacation, I'd work for Daddy Lumba, who was very close to my family as well.
He worked with Daddy Lumba?
Sell cassettes and CDs. He had a shop opposite the MTTU at Okanshi.
Okay.
So, we go sell. We sell during the day. At the end of the day, we go account to Despite Father Dixon. So that also introduced me to many musicians. I was spending a lot of time with Charles Amoa in his studio in Wudome. I met people like Nana Tufo, Willie Roy, Ohene Bakisi, and all these guys. So that also got me introduced properly into the music industry. I understood how things worked, but a proper introduction and also meeting those who really mattered.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you never thought you could actually perform?
I never thought. I knew I could perform, but I knew that I didn't own a voice.
Right.
And it's one of the reasons much later, in my early 20s, I decided to get into music production.
Okay.
Working on Oforian Ponsa's second album after Lumba did the debut with him. I did the Asio album with Oforian Ponsa.
Oh, I
think we did about 3 albums. I did Kofi B's first album, Mobroa.
Okay.
Managed Nana Kwame at some point. Did Tiny's first 2 albums with Abraham Mohinijan.
Wow.
Then we started the Nescafe African Revelations.
Wait, you're now in the 2000s.
Yeah, now in the, okay. I'm moving too fast.
You're now in the 2000s,
isn't it?
Yeah. Are you in a hurry?
No, I'm not in a hurry.
Where are you going? Where are you going, bro? Okay, so what was your first real job?
My first,
apart from the one with KDS,
the KD. Maybe that was my first real job.
That was your first
as a copywriter and production assistant.
Okay.
Because at the time KKD had a show on TV called KKD 45 on GBC TV, not GTV, GBC TV, and I was a production assistant on that show. We used to record from Golden Tulip. And what
was your role as a production assistant?
Making sure things were working, behind the scenes, and also being a copywriter, working on the promos and everything, and also part of the team that helped with the recruitment of the initial guys who worked on Sunshine Radio. Kwame Fache, Fifi Pratt, Ekowe Champong, and all those guys. And I think I was about 17 or 18 years.
Were you making money?
I was getting paid. I mean, if you're 18 at that time and you're getting paid, I was okay. I owned the car.
You owned the car?
Oh, yeah, I did.
That you bought yourself?
Yeah, I bought myself. It was a Datsun Sunny.
And you bought it at age what?
About age 18.
And your dad was fine with that?
Well, why not if I could afford it?
Wow.
My mother had a challenge because I think I left home when I was about 21. Because our Radio Gold, we had a house that had like Sefa Khan in one room, Fifi Bansi in the other one, Shirley Frimpong Manson, Prime, Patricia Megashi, you know, and they left initially. And
is that the Gold House?
The Gold House. You heard about Gold House?
Yes.
Huh? Yes. Where's MFR Paushi? MFR really liked coming to Gold House in the morning.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, she did. Coming for breakfast.
Wow. What did you serve her?
Everything.
All right. Okay.
Watch it, you know.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, so at 18, you already have a car. You're probably introduced to the high life.
Yeah, I was like very early, you know, very early. By 19, I was working full time on radio like we do now.
How did you get into radio as well?
So one day as in Daddy Lumba and I went for an interview at Vibe FM. D4 interviewed him. And on our way, like, and I said, you know the way he speaks.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, it's something I'm really interested in. Coincidentally, around that time, Radio Gold was looking for new presenters. And it was just a year after private media had started. Radio Gold was 1996. Yeah, so Joy was 95, Gold was 96. So
96,
90, late 96. And I said, yeah, I'd be very interested. And at the time, they'd actually advertised on radio that they needed presenters.
Okay.
So I went to try my luck. And
you just walked in there?
I just walked in, you know, and having had prior experience as a production assistant, working on a TV show, and also knowing all these, you know, key people, I think that also played a role.
Okay.
And in building my confidence to sit in front of the panel.
Do you remember who was on the panel?
Yes, it was Kweku Boajuman. It was Nana Joa. She's actually a pastor now, yeah, but she was our HR.
Okay.
And then the great Mr. Bafuboni,
okay,
who adopted me and made me his personal project until he died.
Wow. And that was it. You got the job.
That was
Radio
it.
Gold.
Like a week later, I got a call, and that was it. I started. I was working on with Shirley from Poma, so they worked in batches and teams. I was on Shirley's team.
Okay.
So she's the one that actually walked me through the nuances of how things were done at Radio Gold.
Yeah. What did it take? What was it about you that, you know, got you that role?
I think it was my confidence. First of all, my confidence. You know, how I sat and spoke in front of the team that did the interview. Because we had people like Kwesi Usuasari who worked here much later. He was there as well. Jibe, and then Kwesi Nimi Ansa. We were actually recruited around the same time. And Charlie, I saw people sitting down before the interview holding like plenty papers. You know, people with like master's degrees and all I had was my O level at the time, my O level and confidence.
Yeah.
You know, and I sat in front of them. And
a Datsun, actually.
Yeah, well, and a Datsun, yes. And a Datsun. You know, and I did very well, and I was one of those who was called.
Okay,
so I had to take, yes.
What show was your first radio
show? It was
show?
Called Home Touch.
Home Touch?
Yeah, you know, just playing music from different parts of Africa.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then again, I was one of those few people who got to do everything on Radio Gold, from, you know, the morning show, mid-morning, drive time.
Yeah.
Even getting suspended when we were not allowed to play Hip Life on radio, and some of us played. And so when I came back, they pushed me at night to work between midnight and 4 a.m.
Because you played Hip Life?
Yeah, because it was not really allowed. Yeah. No, it wasn't. I mean, then they did say.
Yeah.
Yeah, so at Radio Gold, we're not allowed to play Hip Life. And I had friends like Reggie Rockstone. X-Do was my junior in secondary school. Yeah, I had released an album. And, you know, as young people, we were part of the Hip Life revolution.
Yeah.
So if I found myself in a space where I had an opportunity to promote and project it, why not?
All through this period, was radio the only thing you were doing?
No. In between time, I always found myself in, well, especially at that time, maybe the first 3 years of, because I got in 97. By 2001, I was producing music.
Okay.
Yeah, doing it for Ponce's second album. That was my first. In actual fact, the first musician I worked with was Max Kofi. A musician called Max Kofi. You know that song? Yes, I did that album in probably 2000, late 2000. In 2001, 2002, we did Ofori's Asil album.
But at that time, music production needed a lot of money. Were you rich then?
I was very connected in the media space. That was my biggest plus. This place, Joy FM, has always been home to me. It's amazing how I never got to work here, but I was always here. I was always here. This was home. I was hanging out with Marco Kwikumanti, whose house was not too far from here. Yes. Mark also started Slip record label music, and we're working hand in hand. We needed money, but we were more connected than needing that capital to start.
Right.
Then again, those were times when we had distributors like Big Ben and the rest of them who actually would give you what they called front money. Front money was advancing your money before you release your album. So Lumba is out with his album, Kojenshi or Forian Ponsa, they'll give you maybe 100,000 Ghana cedis to start the promotion.
Okay.
So they are going to be the sole distributors. So you are giving that money to start your promotion, do whatever. When you're done, you come back, they give you some more money.
Wow.
So I decided to take a walk from the music industry when it went very digital, and we had to start putting music on social media and online
and whatnot.
It didn't make sense to me.
Really?
At all.
Because I was actually going to ask you this particular question because it looked like you're taking a back seat from producing artists. But
yes, I have.
Now there are other ways of making money.
I know. I understand it now. I understand it now.
And whatnot.
No, at the time it didn't make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see why I'd spend so much money because we worked with some of the best producers and engineers. Zap Mallet was not easy to work with.
Yeah.
We were working with.
Come cheap.
No, it didn't come cheap. I was working with Bodo Steiger at the Ryan Klein Studios in Düsseldorf. That's expensive. The same guy who worked on Daughters of Glory as Lumba's, most of Lumba's hit songs,
right?
Or for his first few albums, or Heneba Kisi, Nana Tufo, all these songs. It was all these guys. It was very expensive.
Yeah.
It was very expensive. By God's grace, we got it done.
Apartment 14.
Yes. That was my room number. No, this is coming from Fifi Banson.
Oh, wait. Why is it coming from Fifi Banson?
Fifi Banson or MFR? Definitely.
Well, actually, Fifi Banson is tuned in now.
Oh, he is.
And he asked me to ask you about the GK402.
That's the car I'm talking about.
That's your red Datsun.
The red Datsun. Yeah. So, GR402K later became like a man-signed car. If you want to go somewhere, if you wear the key there, just get the key and go.
Yeah.
And at a point, I took it to the workshop and decided to leave it there.
Just like that?
Just like that. I was trying on getting another one, and Fifi Banson owned it. At the time, he just went and took the car.
And he took it?
Yes. And that's how we lived in a very communal way at Gold House. I mean, Fifi, they preceded my stay in that house, and that's how we lived. It was one huge family. It was like Joy FM at the time as well. It was one huge family, and we're all great friends. You'd find me at the Easter Soup Kitchen. I work at Radio Gold, but I'm at Accra, Kwame Nkrumah Circle, working at Easter Soup Kitchen, and I felt very welcome.
Yeah.
It was always like that.
You stayed at Radio Gold for 18 years.
Yes, I worked at Radio Gold for 18 years, I believe. Yes, 18 years. Yeah, I think so.
You loved the place.
I did. It was home. Then again, at Radio Gold, I could always leave and come back.
Why?
I'm getting flashbacks of traveling with Lexus to South Africa. We went to do some work for SA Tourism, and you were called to come back to work. Drakensberg.
Yes.
You were called to come back to work.
Yeah.
At Radio Gold, I wouldn't have received that call. That's why I stayed there.
I see.
Yeah, because at the point I migrated, I think between 2001 and 2003, I migrated to England. Typical black boy, African boy, Ghanaian boy, trying to look at life out there if there were better opportunities, and I still had my job somehow waiting for me. And then again, what I did was I made myself very relevant in the Ghanaian space, like in England and back home. Whenever I hosted an event in the Ghanaian community, I'd get someone to do a story here. So I was still relevant in this space, even though I was gone. So when I got back, I met Kofi Boache commissioner one day. It's like, Kofi wants to watch our house. Then Kogana and Meka Hanum to so Mabano.
Yeah.
So I came back.
That's why you came back?
That's why I came back. He was actually the motivation. And then also Teddy Osei of Sibisa fame. I used to record a lot of radio commercials.
Is it that things are not going well in the UK?
It was okay, but
No, be honest, Kofi. It wasn't.
No. See,
you worked as a security guard.
I went as a security guard, but then eventually.
You were back home. You were a big star.
But do you know what people do when they go there in those days?
Well, I know, but I mean, I'm talking about your case.
A big star. I mean, a big star in England doesn't mean anything. I didn't grow up there. I don't have classmates there. At the time I was going, I was thinking, I could probably get myself a job in the fashion industry, which eventually happened. I thought maybe I could get myself a job in the fashion industry, probably go modeling or something. Those things didn't happen. My first job was as a security guard.
Yeah.
You know, and then I was pretty lucky. I got stationed very often in companies like Esprit, Ted Baker, and the last place was Paul Smith, where I actually eventually got a job as a salesperson. Right. My boss Paul saw me one day, was like, "Who's this guy who's always so well dressed?" And I'd had prior experience in the fashion industry in Ghana, working for a Diva shirt shop, Charlie Mabrel. Do you know a Diva shirt shop? It used to be on that same stretch as Accra Girls.
Yeah.
You know, many years later. So I'd be at the shop as a security guy, still assisting people who would walk into the shop to buy clothes. And one day
after 2 years,
I came back.
You can't do this again.
I can't do this again. When I came back, Boomerang was really popping.
Yeah.
And aside working on Radio Gold and having my own event, I had a Sunday special at Boomerang. You know, at that time, Hip Life was very stable. We're going places, and we're having great nights over there.
Was around the same period that the Nescafe African Revelation
Yes,
came
that
out?
was in 2004.
Yes.
Yeah, I think so. 2004, 2005. Our mandate was to find music talents in West and Central Africa. So we toured the whole of West and Central Africa looking for music talents, sponsored by Nestle.
Yes, that competition brought out Wuta.
Wuta. Actually, Prior won in that year, the first one. Wuta, they were the first runners up.
Yeah.
But seeing the talents they had, I didn't see why I had to let them go. So I had the mandate of managing Prior for 2 years and decided to add Wuta to it.
Within the same period?
Yeah, within the same period. So I was managing Prior and
Wuta at the same time.
At the same time. And,
how did that pan out?
Oh, it was really good. Oh, at a point, we thought of actually merging the two groups to call them Whoopra or something like that, you know, because we'll travel to different parts of the world and they would always be called together. So we thought, okay, you guys can do your group works or solo works anytime, but we could also get together to record an album as Wuta and Prior. And it's one of the reasons we did the Jacket remix, which had everyone jumping on.
Including you.
Including me.
Yes. How do you feel now that these two groups, which were dear to you?
I was really very brokenhearted. But then again, also knowing that even a band like the Jackson 5, you know, Catherine and Joseph's children, they even fell out at some point. It happened. I mean, they were siblings.
Yeah.
But then they didn't stick together till the end. I mean, we have the Jackson 5 still performing, but at a point, Michael went solo. You know, so I was very brokenhearted because they actually fell out when Ghana was really and truly in love with them at the apex. I mean, we had released Kotosa, which was a big song. Still a huge song till date. And people were craving for more. So it was not a great time to fall out. I actually had a conversation with them, guys. Listen, if I am the problem, let me take a walk and you guys should just continue.
Were you the problem?
No, I wasn't. What
was the problem?
I mean, if I was, they could have just, you know, shelved me. And
what was the problem?
It was just the industry was part of it. There were elements within the industry who were telling someone like a free Frank that, oh, Charlie, you don't say go feed do am alone, or you have this guy who does only one verse on the song. You do maybe 2 or 3 verses and he does one verse. So why don't you go solo and probably get a Samini or Yogi Dogi to play his role?
Yeah.
It takes more than that. You know, you need certain energies for things to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the case of Prior, what was it?
In the case of Prior, ego at work. Ego at work. They didn't manage that too well.
Okay.
Ego at work.
You don't take any fault for any of these divisions?
Well, then they could have been together without me. They didn't have to fall out because of me, no. You know, as a father, which I was to them, like I said to you, I told them to move on without me if they could. but it was a bigger thing.
You know, oftentimes the artist-manager relationship or producer relationship with the artists don't last too long. Is there a reason why? Because you've worked with a lot of artists, from Korean Pants and Ponsa. You did how many albums to him?
We did about 3 albums,
and then that's it.
Yeah,
and then you move on to somebody else.
Yeah, but that's what executive producers do. You don't. I mean, look at Motown as a record label. How many musicians didn't go through Motown? They didn't say they are focusing on maybe Michael Jackson or the Supremes. No, that's what you do. You're always looking for new talent. So as and when people come and go, like the moon, sun, and rain.
Is that a business model?
Well, it's not a business model, but it just happens. You know, when people are not happy for whatever reason, they decide to move on.
Then it means that in the industry, people are really often very not happy.
Well, then again, you know, there are people, especially youngsters, when they start getting a name within the industry. Maybe there's someone who lived in a shack somewhere in the country. All of a sudden he's making waves, the whole country is dancing to his music, he's feeling on top of the world, and then they have elements within the industry and their friends tell them, but Charlie, the place you reach now there, you can be on your own.
Yeah.
And it happens very often. You know, a musician would be with a record label, they'll be complaining about how the label is treating them, they think they've arrived. And then they decide to be on their own, and usually that's the beginning of their end.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
What are some of the lessons you've learned with managing musicians and managing talent?
Be resilient, stay focused. Don't let what happens around you affect your decisions.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, that's what it is.
If you just join us, this is KOD on Personality Profile. You can WhatsApp us on 055-1111-997. Mayanga from Gold City says, Lexus, he's called Untouchable Tracks Master 10 times.
Yeah, that's true.
And Mami AC says, I'm enjoying the interview with KOD. He's an amazing person. I remember the first time I met him back in Live FM 2015, 2016, thereabouts. I just want him to know that he's an amazing person.
I really enjoyed Live
Lex
FM.
is great listening to KOD. He was among the few presenters I listened to on Radio Gold. Enjoy from Radio Gold those days. I love his sense of fashion. From Abakuma Wendy Harvey Ausi in Tema. So you talked about how Radio Gold was home, and you were probably one of the most loyal after 18 years.
Yeah, I was very loyal.
Then at some point you just decided that there's a new station in town, there's a new network in town.
Yeah.
Did they poach you?
They did. I mean,
they poached you.
Yeah.
So you left Radio Gold because of money.
Well, Charlie, but I had done enough. 18 years was more than enough, you know. And there was a dream, you know. My brother Bulare reached out. Kofi, we've worked for other people. It's time for us to own ours, and you know, why not? One for
own
us.
Ours?
Yeah, one for us by us. Yeah. So, you know, come support. Let's make this dream come true. And it was a great time at EIB, because I got to work with Live FM with very young people, young, interesting people. You know, working with the hall weeks at the universities, traveling around the country with these guys who are so talented. I still work with some of them on Rhythms on the Runway, you know, after all these years.
So what happened to the dream?
Well, I mean, at a certain point you move on, you know, you move on. Also, I was nurturing my own Rhythms on the Runway. That's one of them. I had 1957, that was probably about 8 years, and I had to project it to the next level. And I'd done everything on radio. I thought, okay, at this point, it would be good for me to have maybe like a once-a-week show on radio or TV, and just be relevant within the media space, but then also focus on your own.
Was that really the reason why you left?
Just one of that. For me, that was a key reason.
What was the other?
At a point, we're having certain challenges that, you know, everyone who owns an organization experiences sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not something that I should even talk about. It's out in the public domain.
Yeah.
And it was pretty a challenging moment for us. And then again, I also had my own company to grow. So for me, it was...
With the benefit of hindsight, would you say you probably shouldn't have made that move?
No, never. It was a great move. It was a great move. I mean, great people, great talents. I mean, it was meant to be like undoubtedly the finest media group on the continent of Africa, and they still have so much talent and potential to get that done.
You went back to Radio Gold?
Yes, last year I think. Yes.
Why?
After many years of losing their license, it was finally given back to them, and I thought, well, this station has been very nice to me. Really, everything that I've become is because of that platform, what Radio Gold did. So why don't I go back and do national service?
Why didn't you go back?
I decided to.
You had done 18 years at Radio Gold.
Yes. Yeah, but I was not going to work full time. It was part of the reasons I went back.
But I'm saying, why didn't you go back to, let's say, EIB and continue the dream? I could have gone
back to EIB.
And why didn't you?
I chose Radio Gold.
Why?
I had to make a choice.
So why did you wear?
How many shirts do you have? But you chose to wear this color.
So what informed the choice?
No, it's because I thought Radio Gold needed a hand to get to where they were initially.
Okay.
So I was talking to people like Fifi Banson, my brother Mickey Osebeko, Prime Eye, Patrice, all of us. The guys that were around who had left the radio scene and still had the potential to get things to work. We all had meetings with James Ejini Mboateng. We decided, Charlie, listen, let's push this back. And especially at the time when Mr. Bafo Boni had passed, because he was like our godfather.
Yeah.
Let's do this to keep his name alive.
After working for so many fashion brands, you decided to now set up your own, the 1957 brand. How's that been?